Welcome to the Concrete Podcast, where we bring together the people who design it, produce it, place it, and build with it every day. Our goal is simple: to unify the concrete industry by sharing real conversations about materials, methods, and the challenges we're all working to solve. From ready-mix producers, contractors, engineers, researchers, and innovators, this podcast is about learning from each other and pushing our industry forward.
So now you've waded into Type 1L.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm begging you to adjust your perspective. And here's the epistle.
Mm-hmm.
The epistle is that ever since Duff Abrams did it in 1918, he came up with a number, and our industry has been stuck with that number for over 100 years. It's a huge mistake. The specification community has their own set of fears. They have their own boogeyman. And they know they're not doing the reading. And they know numbers, but they know they don't understand numbers. They know all this. Nonetheless, the evolution of this since 1971, first we have air and training agents, then we have admixtures, superplasticizers, fly ash, slag, silica fume, metakaolin. And then along this spectrum comes this genius idea from somebody in a corner glass office somewhere in England or Europe, said, we must be green. So as of something, we're going to be 50% green by 20, pick a number, 50.
50, something like that, yeah.
Again, a guy that says we're going to Mars, but he hasn't figured out how to get the rocket started. Okay, so God bless Americans. We actually solve those problems in a hurry. So here we are solving this problem. So I could choose to say, again, perspective and perception, that we have a high-performance cement in that category. This is our first attempt. By the way, we blew up a lot of rockets that didn't get off the ground.
Oh, absolutely.
This is, in my opinion, the first throw. And now what we're up to, by the way, your father would say, I don't want any of that fly ash.
No, we did not do fly ash.
And by the way, I don't know, why is slag green? And why does air make my concrete so sticky? Every single one of these things went through exactly what we're going through. So this is not new. Mm-hmm. We've been here before.
Mm-hmm.
The point is that this is a solution we've already solved. I already know how to do this. I took it seriously. And the whole point is, I want you to stop talking about the evil of Type 1 cement, because we're here to stay, and it's going to get worse.
That's understandable. So walk us through the evolution of these products that came to market. The rockets blew up, right? I'm sure there was a point where people didn't talk about it. They saw issues with the first rocket that came out, right? Didn't talk about it, similar to where we are now, and the evolution of no talking to people throwing their hands up, right? Yelling, screaming, something changing, and then it being fixed or a better solution.
Okay. So, in every one of those examples, it was an economically driven request. I want to sell admixtures. I want to sell curing compounds. I want to sell air and trade agents. I want to sell silica fume. I want to sell slag. I want to sell fly ash, because we can make things less expensive. And we're not sure, but we think it makes the concrete better. We'll have to find out.
Or maybe just not worse, but we can get it cheaper.
Just not worse. So yes. In other words, let's try it. Let's be careful. And by the way, let me remind you, in the 90s, the soup of the day was, we're going to do three-way mixes. Cement, slag, and fly ash. And it was better concrete. It was strong, it was normal, but there were some conditions. It only works above 85 degrees. You don't want to do that in 40 degrees.
Mm-hmm. There's trade-offs for all this.
And so nobody talked about that. So famously, a few ready-mix producers in the northern Ohio area poured lots of concrete on driveways. Now, I don't know if I've lived in the Great Lakes. I was the one shoveling 2 inches of snow every day for a month. I lived in Cleveland. I know what that is. And they had all kinds of spalling. And then somebody picked up a class action suit. The Attorney General of the state of Ohio said, yeah, you're at fault.
Who's at fault?
The ready-mix producers, because you are delivering a material that is not suitable for its intended purpose. And then the defense was, well, it made 4,000.
We hit strength.
Oh, well, that's always heard.
We hit strength.
But it is not suitable for its intended purpose. Then the entire world noticed all at once, 85. See, now 85 is my number. Their number is still 65. I know it's not a good idea at 65.
Well, yeah.
I have another set of standards. 85 is the magic number. Get above that, and we can actually start it. Push the button.
Well, it's the same thing I'm going through with freestall durabilities. I think the magic number, everybody wants to stop that 300. Well, okay, if you've got 30 freestall cycles in a season, well, that's only 10 years. Well, I'd like my concrete to last a little bit longer, so what I do in my lab is I run them up to 600. At least get 20 years out of it.
Right.
So to the same thing. Until there is another class action lawsuit, this stuff's got to put.
Does it always have to get to the class action? Like
No,
change
no,
in
no,
your
no, no.
experience, right?
Many
The
people
65, 85 degrees, right?
Most people figure it out.
Okay. So the industry goes through the challenges, sees the problems, figures it out, and then that word is spread.
Eventually, hey, it works in Cleveland.
Okay.
Let's at least look at it.
Yeah.
It's exactly what he said. Well, I'll look at it. That's how it evolves.
And adjust as needed.
So
So are we in the adjustment period? Or are we in the sky is falling?
the point is,
Jump on them.
I want you to change your language because it's about surface area. All of the problems for the last, 50 years I can speak of, were indirectly related to surface area and the speed of water. Because the surface area is what affects the volume of water and the speed of the water.
Correct.
So now I'm working on my current homework is how do I measure it? How do I prove it? How do I demonstrate it? How does it present? And so the thing that we're doing is that, it's going to require 3 or 4 major modifications of the way we think. And the thing I discovered from all of that was that there's a boogeyman. And the boogeyman is what you said. You got a bad mix. I can't help that.
Can't fix a bad
E5
mix.
won't fix it.
Nothing fixes it.
Nothing fixes it.
It doesn't matter what you do because at the end of the day, we're grinding finer, smaller.
Right.
We have, I'm going to call it loosey-goosey testing standards and whatever else is going on that people get passed through the committees. All these fine materials floating around, and you can't get them wetted out, can't get them bound up. What you're doing is trying to slow that down as much as possible with a solution so that problem doesn't escalate later on.
Right.
So with 1L, and I've said it many times, I'm aggravated because they didn't do the research long enough to see some of the issues and head it off. I'm seeing now the Federal Highway paper comes out and says now 1L needs more water. Well, I've been preaching that now for 3 years. I knew that.
But some
back
people
then.
still claim that the water demand
Well, they go, well, then if you
stay
add
the
more water, you lose strength. Oh, okay. There's a give and take to this game. If you want to use 1L, fine, use 1L. Accept the trade-off.
Well, there's major trade-offs in that solution. Number one, thank you, Joe, because you and I are trying to get ready for the big fight that's coming.
Yeah.
We're doing homework, asking questions.
That's right.
Other people will say, well, finally FAA says something, so I guess it's okay for us to try it.
Yeah.
And those are all things that are built within the system. We're not going to change it. We can't even talk about it. They're just the monotonous.
Things we have to deal with.
We're in this swamp just like Yoda. Okay, we're in the swamp. Yoda's got to do what Yoda's got to do. And he has lunch over there and he does his other business over there. So therein lies the point. We're in a position now where we have to inform, and the easiest way, in my opinion, is to inform it is that water is critical to concrete. And if you go in the wrong direction, I say it all the time, most of the thing, when I come into things, I find that the people are looking in the wrong direction. I want more water. Not too much, but I want more. And so when I say that, they're going, oh, geez, here we go. And I'm saying, no, it's necessary for hydration. Your particles are not going to make crystals if they're not given water. Now, the trick is I've got to give them enough water. I've got to make sure it's in the right place. And then I've got to keep it from evaporating.
At the right time. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I got to cure it, but frankly, you're not going to cure it. And frankly, I don't want you to touch a curing compound. Whatever you do, there's an outright bold-faced lie, because those things sell you on 700 square foot to the gallon, which is what I want you to do, because you can't screw the concrete up at about that rate. But if you did it where you thought it would cure, then you're down to 125 square feet. And by the way, a 5-gallon can per a 700 square foot driveway is a bad story. Don't do that.
Well, yeah, there's all kinds of problems that can happen with that.
So in other words, there's a solution that we all focus on, and stop it. Mm-hmm. It's not the thing. And somebody needs to tell people something. And by the way, I'm going to piss people that make curing compounds off, and I'm sorry. I really am. But if you really want to examine this, I've done my homework. Come to my store. We'll talk about it. I'll demonstrate my opinions. I'm asking for your counter. I want to know what I'm getting wrong. I'm open. See, I'm not at war. I'm not beating on people. I'm saying, I found an issue. I would like to hear what you think.
Mm-hmm.
So, the point is surface area. It's not 1L cement. We have to be green. To your point, we were subjected to a bunch of people that are in the glass offices that are not thinkers.
Well, my perspective of it is this is not about being green. It's about being green in another way, and that's greening the linings of the pockets of corporations.
All possible.
Now, I'm all about, hey, let's do better for planet, whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, don't line your pockets on the backs of the people doing the work.
They're suffering.
And what I'm seeing is people now saying, we need more research on one now. We need more research. It's like, well, dear God, why didn't you do that before you launched it? Now, I'm going to throw it back. You guys told me to do that same thing before. Oh,
more research.
E5 could be more. And it's like, well, practice what you preach, people. You should have done your homework and not now go, well, this new paper from the Federal Highway comes out and it says, oh, we need more water. We need more research. We need more. And it's like, well, then why'd you launch it? We were doing just fine. Because, if I'm using a type 1 cement, yeah, it might not be greener, but if I ain't tearing it out as much, it's greener.
Okay. A friendly amendment to what you said is, there's no doubt that profit has a lot to do with it.
It's huge.
But I want to point out two things. There are wizards in our cement plants that were tasked to take at least 10% of clinker out of cement and put in 10% of dust. Dust is detrimental.
Oh,
so we're asking you to put 10% dust in.
Make it work.
And make it work. And what I need from you is I need 2 pieces of paper out of a lab that look identical. Make that, and they did.
They did.
Now, the other side of that is some mills are better than others. Some regions are better than others. Some producers are better than others, and they know that there's a hard line, just like I know about 85 degrees.
That's right, hard lines.
There's a hard line. Don't go past that hard line for the time being. And they have no problems. None of these things you're discussing are raising their head to bite you. Their boogeyman is quiet. In other places, the West is difficult because it's hot and the materials are difficult. You need help because it's just the way it is.
So at the end of the day, most people they'll hear this and they'll think, well, then what do we actually do?
Deal with surface
What
area.
I tell people is, look, when we're making a cake in the kitchen. We're following the recipe. And if we follow the recipe, the cake comes out. But if we have a component taken out of that recipe, not by our own doing, but because they're changing something within the mix of that cake, we might have to not bake it as long. We might not. We might have to pull it out of the oven.
There's adjustments
but that's
that you have to make.
That's trial and error on our dime.
It is.
So what I tell people is like, look, it's here. We can fix it. But what we have to do is the indoctrination mindset isn't lower the water cement ratio and add more chemical, because that causes a whole nother array of issues of deflocculation to back to flocculation and cement agglomerations and all this other stuff that causes finishing issues. We have to understand that less chemical, a little bit more of the water to wet the material out, and then timing of when you float, bowl float, broom. Don't wet your brooms. Sorry, you're going to have to quit doing that. The cement is not as robust as it used to be. So there's no grace there for that anymore.
Right.
Your brooms need to be completely dry. You know, we used to be able to get away with using trial machines on top of paving, and we could do that. Well,
Beats out
the air's not as robust when you have more dust in. There's just problems. So it's all methodologies that we need to do. Problem is, when there's trouble and there's contract issues, we got documents tied to this that are set off type 1, and there's no guidelines on how to do type 1L.
So here's my analogy of that. The world is filled with different kinds of men. My upbringing was, if I wanted a bike, I kind of had to fix one. So I had to figure out how to pick up a screwdriver. I had to figure that out. And then I had to figure out about not breaking it. Now, I would consider myself worthy of picking up a chainsaw. And maybe even putting gas in it, and maybe even getting it started. But there are rules. I know those rules. There are many people that don't know the rules.
That's right.
Now you take that exact same knowledge and say, now take that chainsaw up that tree and start cutting limbs. Now that's an entirely different set of skills that I don't have.
That's right.
So to your point, from time to time in certain areas, we have moved beyond the skill set of the people finishing the concrete.
Yes, we have.
And they are not going to learn quickly. In the meantime, we need to keep them from buying concrete back. This stuff does that. That's why I'm adamant about colloidal silicas. They actually do that. You get a gel on the surface that prevents water. And oh, by the way, when the gel dries, it's a crystal. It's like a perfect part, two parts perfectly matched. So there's a handful of things that are all in the right direction. And all you've got to do is decide that you don't want to see the boogeyman.
No.
That's all you got to do.
Watching these people go through these issues that they're having right now, the best solutions I'm coming up with is a total solution, not just a bolt-on.
No.
So you have to be able to have a conversation with your producer, but that producer also has to be willing to sit down and have an open mind.
As an example, how many guys on the crew? When you want to go home?
Yep.
How long are you going to pour? Do you have a sense of the timing of my mix? Is it a 2-hour mix, 3-hour mix? Give me some sense. If somebody makes me add things like fly ash or admixtures, that's going to change the number. Are you aware of those changes? I'm going to have to do a transfer curve blend on this, and I may not be able to get the aggregates. So maybe I can compensate by putting in big rock. Can you tolerate big rock? I mean, all of those things, you know.
They play in the success of the mix.
Now, if you get a mix that uses little or no water, I did a test. I took dry sand, weighed it. I soaked it, shook it out, and weighed it. Guess how much water the thing held? Sand holds water.
That's right.
Is that positive or negative? The water's not going anywhere. I can't shake it out of there. It's stuck there.
It's in there.
Now, that's a good thing. Stone, not so much, right?
Runs off.
So the trick is, let's get that right, because now I can start to manipulate the speed of water.
Yeah, so now you're talking 70% of the body of concrete that no one really talks about, how the sand and ag can actually be affecting some of these issues, because surface area, water content, whether you need more coarse, less sand, because when your cement's finer, you have more particle space, and where's the water all going? Those are all issues that need to be rethought. Unfortunately, a lot of our finishers don't get the same treatment as I got through my career of what those questions you just asked me.
Right.
So most of these guys that are trained in the ready mix industry, technical guys and everything, is their answer is to add more admixture. Well, there's a reason they add more action mixture. Right. I don't know what their rebate program is for the ready mix producer, but I'm sure there is one. At least I've seen it in some in my life. But at the end of the day, you guys have developed a program. It's about quality and not so much about making a chemical mix, but making an actual mix that works.
Yeah.
Today, it's so chemically enhanced, well, you can't even chase down the problem.
Well, a friendly addition. There is very little conversation about considering suitable for its intended purpose. I made a mix. It passes ACI. I did the test in the lab. Wait a minute, perfect temperature, perfect humidity, perfect handling.
Bathtub.
Everything's
quickly
perfect.
handled. Everything is perfect. By the way, that is not representative of the material you're selling. Now, are you aware of that? Well, who the hell are you? And by the way, what's for lunch? So at some point you say, well, look I've got to deal with the fact that the testing lab is going to screw this up. Okay, so what do? I give them coolers. Why? Because the specific heat of water is immense. And if I put cylinders in water, then they are tempered correctly, and the temperature doesn't kill them.
Oh, there you go.
So
Temperature and water.
And so what I'm doing is I'm taking them off the boogeyman list. If you just do half, I'll get the other half. I'll give you the coolers, and yeah, I know you're going to steal them and give them to your farm friends, but still, this makes it less conversational.
It's insurance, right?
I'm dealing with a boogeyman. Why would you give coolers away? Because there's a boogeyman.
I've got to reach.
Why would you use E5? There's a boogeyman. So the point there is that we have to understand that it's suitable for intended purpose. And I'm talking a timeline, a temperature line, and even a manufacturing line. In other words, we have a problem within my industry. We have new drivers. Some of them are Gen Zs, and they want to do good work, but they don't know how to do good work. And when you yell at them, they leave. So, you got to be appropriate. And I'm not being negative. I'm just trying to, there's a new normal.
All right.
And all I'm saying is that we need to make sure that they understand that they're not going to lose their job. If you take a truck out there at a 5 slump with the thought, I can always add water, nobody's going to fire me. They do that. And I'm thinking, the new normal says no.
Yeah, no.
To control this new stuff, I got to get it wet at the fence.
Before it even goes.
You got to get all the water in, because think about one of the solution sets that they had to use when they made this cement is they had to grind it stupid fine. Because they had to make the cement work harder. More surface area. So all of these things are built into the system now. Okay, so so now, okay, fine, we can do that. And if you keep it dry, you blow it up. I don't care what the day looks like. I don't care what your time. I don't care what the actual slump that all of that stuff goes away because this guy was afraid. And
to wet it at the fence.
Right. And there's these brown shirts run around that just want to throw stuff away. They're not efficient. They say the slump is off by 1/10, or the slump is off by 2/10, or the air is off by 2/10.
That's another subjective
So
test.
as a result, there are people that will reprimand them. You don't want to be reprimanded. Nobody does. And by the way, there's a boogeyman for them too. They don't understand concrete and mixing and what that truck does. We need to be kind and give ourselves a little cushion. Because I don't care who you think you are. Concrete is hand grenade science. Okay, all you got to do is get inside this circle. Just get in the circle.
Yeah, just get into the little network circle that runs all the little committees and everybody's happy.
Well, no, that's an ugly thing. But I'm talking about day-by-day world. Is if you get it kind of close,
Right.
We're good.
Why?
Everybody has to get it kind of
Because
close.
it's a forgiving system. It's a lot of elasticity. There are people like you that have skills and say, oh, geez, it seems to be going today. I can tell the way I
Now,
finished.
how big's that circle today?
It's a different circle. Okay. And so the point is, to your point, now I got to do a little bit more, and I got to make sure that that one and that one is correct. Now I'm weighing which ones are more correct, which is more important, because I still don't know my boogeyman. My boogeyman could simply be the driver.
Yeah.
I get him to arrive at a 7 slump. Another boogeyman is somebody says 0.40. That means I got someone that's afraid sitting in an office, and he doesn't know that the surface area has changed. And he doesn't know that it's okay. We can fix this.
So what you're describing is what I've been wrestling with in certain areas where the ready mix producers are holding back 50 gallons of water.
Yeah, they're petrified.
But then to get it to the slump to deliver, what do? Up the water reducer.
Terrible choice.
And then they go, well, you got 50 gallons to add at the job site if it doesn't hit that. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Or even adding water reducer.
That goes back to the bad mix you're not going to fix.
Yeah.
You just held back a lot of water and a lot of that reason they're holding back water is what they did do at the beginning to get ready for the day is just checking your moistures because they're really guessing at the beginning. Okay.
By the way, our culture is based on C students doing C homework.
Yes. So we got all these variables, but with a very tight book that draws hard lines. Oh, you have to be at this number. But then we got all these variables. We're trying to make work in the circle, grenade science. We're taking grenade science, trying to do rocket science with literature. Because the guys standing up there doing all the presentations from all the universities are saying, I did this, and it should be this. And then we're out here going, yeah, I think it's going to work. But when there's a problem, but we're trying to run the industry with this. Right. So when we got into nanoparticles, nanosilica, we looked at it as not a silver bullet. We didn't look at it as a cure-all to fix all. We look at it now as like, oh, if we're going to play grenade science and you're going to take our window that we could play here, but now you're going to shrink it, silicas and nano allowed us to play more efficient in the smaller circle.
Optimize the water.
But now that we have a very valuable solution within the market and it is starting to grow, we start to see a lot of opposition. So,
Well, they're defending their territory.
And that's all what it boils down. It's just like now this is now hit into a political type of world now for stopping the engine.
There are people that don't want to be revealed.
Absolutely. And I'll say it because it's my podcast. Whether it's the ACA, whether it's the Federal Highway, whether it's ACI, or whether it's consultants, if they are not positioning themselves to benefit from this financially or agenda that they're on, they're going to try to shut this down, even though it's the most valuable solution today to help narrow the risk for the people that's working. Now, to me...
And why would they? What's it to them? It's your problem.
You're exactly right. And that's the wrong way to be a partner within the industry, right? Because I was raised to be a good partner, and I was taught by these kind of individuals to be a good partner to make a good outcome for a person that's going to spend millions of dollars in buildings for his return of investment. Right. So no one's playing. They talk the big game. Oh, we're here to help the industry. We're here to help that. We're here to
associations.
Do this. But then the first thing they do is bastardize anything that's trying to unify the industry. Mm-hmm. But then they'll go, well, I don't like his tone. Well, I don't like this, and I don't like that, and I don't know. Well, that's all fine. We can all. You've taught me to take shots like that my whole career. That's fine. Well, I'll take the shots.
See, the psychology part of me that says that there's certain ways you can talk to your wife.
Yeah.
Okay. Now they're the better gender. Full disclosure. We will learn how to deal with them as we mature, but you don't talk to your wife certain ways. And in a way, if you understood them, I mean the people outside the fence that we rely on, we ought to make sure that we're talking to them in a manner that they can hear, that they will respect, that they will choose to do, because it's a choice. Everything is about choices.
You're absolutely right, until you lied to me.
Okay, now, I offer that I can count 5 to 7 different kinds of lies. I've learned that people just don't all lie the same.
No.
My kids lie to me different. I lie to my wife different. Attorneys are told, never ask a question where you don't know the answer. Well, why is that? Because they know that they're going to be lied to. So they have to structure it correctly so that the lie is narrowed down to a thing that's going in their direction. Lies of omission, lies of ignorance, conditional lies, situational lies, lies of fraud, deception, catfishing. They're all lies. They're different intent, different purpose, different direction. So I'm used to lies. I've come to accept them.
So to Joe's point, he's saying there's lies coming within certain silos of the industry.
Yeah.
And then you say, well, there's different types of lies.
Right.
Are you justifying what that silo is saying to us?
What I'm saying is they're going to lie to you.
Okay.
You're going to get lied to. We even have a name for it. Who would have thought catfish was? I mean, is
Right.
did I get that right?
Yeah,
It's
you did.
catfish,
You did.
right?
You did.
So
Yeah.
the internet, I need a term that manipulates a third person.
Catfishing, that's actually pretty good. 1L's catfish. Yeah, that's actually pretty good.
So the point is
Cut
that,
that out. Yeah.
and by
No,
the
we'll
way,
leave that.
what are you actually going to do about it? You're not going to stop them from lying.
No.
And by the way, calling them out doesn't actually help.
Oh, no, it makes them mad.
It does. It actually does, because look at all the forums and all the chat online and all the videos.
No, Chris,
it's insane.
You're 76? 77. I'm 54. I still got a little learning to do in my life. And I am built as a finisher. We have a fight within us not to give up. We definitely
Challenge.
like challenges.
It's a hard life.
And but then what really probably adds, I mean, people would call it my detriment, but when I have a lot of empathy and compassion for the people in my industry, that I know what it's like to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I know what it's like to be lied to while you're pouring concrete. I know what it's like to do this, and you have to adjust, and yet you have to hit an objective to finish the concrete, even though you've been lied to, cheated, whatever it might be. You still have to hit an outcome.
Your own mistake. Right.
So I was completely blinded to what we call industry, like these people making decisions that affected me in the field. But if they would have made a different decision, my outcome would have been different, and I might not had to work as hard. I might not had to spend money on fixing something if they would have said, hey, you might see this. Oh, man, I can adjust this, and then I wouldn't have to do this, and I could do this. Because we have many methods, many different ways of doing things in the field if we only know what we're facing. So when I got onto this side, and I thought, to me, I was naive. I thought people in the industry, cement manufacturers, naive, and you can get on to me. I thought they just told the truth because they really wanted to help people, really wanted to help the industry.
Create a good product, right? Here's the product.
By the way, that's what makes me a fool, because I believe people.
Yeah, and I do too. That's my problem. When they came out and said, hey, 1L's 1-to-1. Oh, okay, cool, son. This shouldn't be a problem. I mean, I even went to the extremes of testing 100% limestone cement back in the 1700s from Edison's plant in New York, just to kind of see what this stuff really was all about. You know, hey, cool, it's a. But man, when you start seeing the problems, and then they boldface didn't really do the research, they just shoved it out for profit, more or less. That's when I got mad, because I got lied to. I got upset because I was really upset because I believed them. And I should have been a little bit more skeptical, but I believed it.
Yeah, and I flip that all the time. Like me being a fool or me being fooled believe me, it's happened a lot. I sit there and I say, now, what could I have done? How could I have not blank? What should I have said blank? And I do that introspection daily. What do I need to say to cut this corner to keep the boogeyman out of the story? And I don't have a good answer. But
No, man, I'll say it 100 times. Internal cure, LFA, colloidal silicas are not the end all be all. They're a different material to help reduce the risk of a recipe. That's what they do
to manage the water.
And it's a new way of doing different methods, different technology to help get you to a successful end, but it's not always going to end 100%.
no.
There's always another issue because I don't know what they're putting in their grinding aid systems. I don't know what that truck's did. Or like you said, I don't know what the truck driver
Held
did.
the water back.
I don't
Or-
know.
yeah.
We don't know. But what I don't like is the last guy touching it getting all the blame.
See, that is unfair.
Completely
And
unfair.
That makes your life very hard. So more than ever, your silo of the series
Yeah.
is uber critical because nobody gets paid unless you do.
Exactly.
And by the way, you're responsible for making it architectural concrete. We ordered concrete, but we didn't mean hard. We meant pretty. And so all of this is on your neck, and they're waiting for you to fail. They're trying to. They don't even want to talk about it. They just hope that, geez, I hope this works because I don't want to have a meeting. So at the end of the day, if your culture, your silo, really needs something to protect you from your boogeymen, because they're all over you.
Absolutely.
So
and
if there was
I'm
ever a
thinking
group
the
that
industry
needs
should
it-
be my protector. The other silos should be our fans going, yes, get this guy his best thing so he can get paid, so we all get paid. But they're getting paid regardless because they have protected themselves or insulated themselves with all the documentations and things to shove that risk down here. And the guy standing here that's going, well, I don't have enough money to fight these systems. No, you don't.
So you see, we're approaching them in the incorrect manner, right?
I think
We're
you are,
communicating
because
our message
there is-
incorrectly.
There is an enemy at the gate, and it's the rest of our culture.
Say that again, Chris.
There's an enemy at the
There
gate.
you go.
And it's the rest of the silos.
Yeah.
They know they don't know, and they hope you don't know,
Oh, yeah.
so that if it should go, I can get him.
Yeah.
Now the point is, I tell everybody, all of our salesmen, if you hear the word 5,000 PSI, if you hear the word architectural concrete, you have to call me, because there are different rules.
Yes.
Now I have to get 4 or 5 people lit up and tell them, just like taking a chainsaw up a tree, there's additional sets of rules.
Absolutely.
See, now you're in a world where, for no reason that I would consider, okay, I can see the reasons, I understand the reasons, but you're right. They didn't help us figure this out.
Nope.
And by the way, there aren't that many people out there like me, and I'm not proud of that. But in fact, it's a bitch because I get in trouble too. But the point is that they don't have the time to care about you, and they don't even know what you have to go through.
No.
And all they need, and they don't want to know. So in a way, the foolish part that you're a fool is that you thought you had a team.
Yeah.
And as you said a few times, finding a team's a little tough.
It sure is.
So the trick is to find a team and figure it out.
So, Chris, where do you think, in your experience, that this is going to go with the 1Ls? Looking back at the other slag, fly ash evolution and coming to market, it changing, getting better. In your humble opinion, where do you think this 1L product material is going to go? Is it going to change? Is it going to stay the same? Is it going to?
It's here to stay, hands down. The people in the mills are brilliant, and they know how to move the needle. But the instructions they were given is to just make it look okay in this
same
range.
as.
Now, they don't know how to make it better in your range.
No.
So we'll probably never get there. But there are other people that have done tests. Like there's a whole bunch of things written on type 1L cement that was, 5% substitution is optimum. The concrete's actually better. And you don't know this, but you've been getting 5% for
the whole time,
maybe 2 decades.
Yeah.
So in other words, they know that. But what they didn't know is how far they can go above and beyond without blowing something up. So they went too far. It says, okay, we got to back it up. God bless Mike Nelson. He says, look, I'm going to give you 8. And by the way, it's more than 6, but if you look at the curve, it's a great decision. Now, going forward, we're probably going to have a limit, just like with fly ash. Don't put 50% fly ash in the mix.
And don't pour below X bad degrees.
Yeah, because when you go over that limit, here's the payoff. This is what's going to happen.
The boogeyman shows up immediately. So if you're a specifier and you're a little nervous, we'll talk to people that can help you. I'll help you. And it's not going to be me preaching. It's going to be the documentation. There's evidence.
So unfortunately, we're in the period of heartache financial loss that the industry has dealt with as new materials come to market, as new materials have changed. We're in that period. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. We can't tell the people that are watching today, do this and your life will be fine.
I believe that's true, but remember, it's a regional question. The guy over there has got putting only X% in, and nobody's having trouble.
That's right.
Right.
The people that are having trouble, they're over here, and now you can have a conversation with your cement guy. By the way, you're killing me. And the guy says, he'll either say, let me work on that, or he'll say, I don't care.
Everyone else is fine.
So at some point, it's going to unwind. And we will accommodate, because let's face it, at one point we were doing 3-way mixes until we discovered, temperature. 85 degrees. And then for no apparent reason, we had a monstrous hurricane and all the slag was unavailable. They were fixing things. Slag's a tremendous addition to concrete. Oh, where are you going to get the slag? And, oh, by the way, we're not burning coal power anymore. Oh, dear, fly ash is gone. Oh, my God, the only thing left is bad fly ash. Like, nobody knows this, but there's really good fly ash, and there's not that good fly ash. So, again, within the system, within the minds of a handful of people, they know this. The other half
doesn't know.
Doesn't want to know.
I mean, finishers don't. Finishers know bucket words.
No.
They know curing compound. Then they think every curing compound's the same. Fly ash. They think every fly ash is the same. It's all the same. Right. Cement. And it's not their fault. It's no one else's fault. That's just how it is. We don't have time to sit around and research all that. We're trusting our partners to tell us the truth on these things. Well, necessarily those partners don't tell us the truth because there's a financial gain on different types of materials we're using.
Right.
Okay, that's that silo. But then when it comes to our silo, now that we are waking up, I want the finishers in the industry to wake up and challenge these things and understand you have the power to tell these people what you want in your mix when you research it and study it.
Right. Or at the very least, come up with the questions.
Because you're paying for it. Yeah. It's like you're the customer, you're paying for the yard of concrete. Here's a check. It is now yours. You transfer, now the transition's here. You own that mix.
What you're buying.
Well, then give me what I want when I tell you, don't challenge me on it. Because I know some producers go, well, I'm not giving you a 5-inch slump unless you buy a mid-range. Well, what?
Get out of here.
Yeah, I'd tell that guy to take a fly. I'm buying the concrete. But then you got a specification. Guy goes, I want a .40, this engineer. Well, don't be afraid to challenge that engineer. Say, why are you wanting this? Do you know by getting a .40 water cement ratio, I now got to have this much cement in it or this much cementitious, and here's the trade-off for that low water cement ratio. Right. You're going to cause delay, discoloration. I could see more plastic shrinkage, crack, all this stuff comes into play. Like you said, hey, if you get a 5,000 PSI mix or architectural, call me.
Okay, here's a tip I can offer you. Long ago, I learned that people don't want to listen to me tell them things.
Yep.
Think about it. There's a very interesting thing about when I ask you a question, there's a split second where you say, what was the question again? And what will I say? And do I know an answer? Do I have to bluff? Do I have to fake it? Do I have to lie? Because there's a split second. So what I've learned to do, especially I have 3 daughters. And they taught me as a father that I have to get my message across in 8 syllables. I didn't say words, 8 syllables before I got talk to the hand. So it made me a very effective communicator. But what that taught me was in my spoken questions. You can try this in the car on the way home. Just say everything that you're going to say in questions. I wonder why Dairy Queen's so well. I wonder why do I like Dairy Queen. I wonder if I should have a Dairy Queen now. You can say all those things. And when you get to that guy, says, by the way, why did you do it the way you did it? Yes, you're making them uncomfortable, but you're bitching at them and they're uncomfortable anyway.
Right.
And so if, well, why did you do that?
So rephrase comments to your ready mix or to your partners in questions to educate.
Didn't you know that retards? Didn't you know that?
Did you know that was sticky?
So I learned that. I learned that from my daughters, but I also learned that the world is populated by 2 different clusters of people. I learned this when I had cancer, that there are practitioners, God bless they're there, thank you very much. But then there are wizards. Now, if you're walking into a chemo story, you really want to find the wizard.
The wizard, right.
Yep.
If you have a blood problem, get the wizard. Don't get the practitioners. I can't count the times these guys are guessing too much out loud, and I can tell they're really guessing. Like, thank you very much. I'll take the antibiotics, but who else does this? Because the wizards are doing what you're asking for. Well, when do you want to go home?
Yeah.
How many guys are you going to have? Are they going to show up? Don't tell me you're going to do this with 3 guys. We should think about that. They're asking all those questions. So in every industry, there are wizards. And you kind of need to find them because they're the ones that can shortcut you and get you to kind of like at least where the thought process.
Rethink, ask questions, yes.
Because the answers aren't the problem as much as the approach. The approach to the question often predicts the answer. So you got to be very careful with that because you build in a bias. And you don't want that. You want to make a guy that's open. And usually, if you're talking in questions, you find out right away whether you got a wizard or whether you got a dumbass. Sorry.
Well, I don't think we're ever going to change our tone in approaching this challenge right now. So I think it'll go to people like you that will help soften the message out to the silo that we're having challenges with.
Tones change when other people change, and if people don't change,
or you grow up to be 77 and realize they're not going to change.
Yeah,
right.
So it's up to me. It's my problem.
And then that's probably, I don't know if I can do that. I don't have it
You're
within
not there
me.
yet.
I'm not
No,
a
I don't
fighter. I'm a fighter. I'm not one that can
you're
do it.
still
It's like,
50
no,
something.
well, we'll just fight it to the end.
By the way, your adrenaline and your ego is maxed out.
Thanks, Chris. That's why I say I can't get through that door sometimes. But I don't see that sometimes, but maybe it is.
I think there comes a point too where you start softly, right, and you start questioning, and then that soft tone becomes hardened because answers aren't provided and misinformation is provided, and so that tone becomes more rigid.
It is, and I think to your point, I felt like at the beginning I did what you've taught me to do. I started asking a bunch of questions. Questions irritated people.
Yeah, they do.
And then when those questions irritated people, they came on an attack.
Yeah.
Then when they came on an attack, I didn't continue to question. I did the one thing that I do. I'm competitive. Don't challenge me because I'm going to prepare beyond the norm.
Right.
I've been taught, geared, trained to prepare.
Right.
I didn't walk into any concrete pour not prepared. I had everything.
You had to be.
He had the gun, Chris. He didn't come to the night
Yeah,
fight.
I'm bringing bazookas, Gatling guns, and I'm not going to show you all my cards, but if you keep it up, I'm going to pull them out, and it's probably not going to end well. Right now, I've got a lot of stuff sitting that I'm trying to be nice to everybody, but there's going to come a time if we'll let it all out if that's what they really want.
Well, I'd volunteer that if you're negotiating a treaty between 2 countries, one thing you don't say is that if you don't do it my way, I'm going to eliminate your civilization.
Yeah,
There's
you don't
a handful
do that.
of things you shouldn't
Right.
do.
Yeah.
Right.
But you
Just
got it. Somewhere
don't
online,
do
you
that.
got to, it's like, all right, everybody's got to get into a room to agree.
Correct. The negotiations have to start at some point.
Right. And by the
You
way,
can't just sit back.
Let me help you. Let's come. Okay, I've been taught a long time ago that the 5 whys, you've heard about the 5 whys. So you got to ask 5 whys. Usually by the 5th why, you're at the core of the problem. That's where water is the why. That's where water came from 20, 30 years ago. So the point there is that if you can ask 5 whys, and you may be aggravating, but you're probably not. You're just saying, look, let's address this. So why are we doing it this way? Like, why? Okay, so you have to have 10, 12, 13% dust in your cement. I get that. But now, I have to do other things. Are you aware of that? Are you aware that I can't finish this the way I used to? And let the guy answer.
And there's awareness.
He's going to say, I don't know.
There's awareness.
Because,
A ton of awareness.
and so, I'm not inventing the boogeyman. I'm responding to the boogeyman.
I'm responding. Well, and that's everybody's new solution is now let me put an integral sealer into the cement. I'm just like, do you guys realize you're putting a hydrophobic material into a mix that needs water?
Right.
It's not the answer. You got limestone dust in this. You have to do something else. It needs water. It needs wet out. It needs to bond to something to be consumed or taken care of.
Right.
And the industry is just looking for another Band-Aid.
They're in a hurry. They got
Son.
a softball game to watch.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
They're getting paid whether they answer the question.
Yeah,
or not.
because and that's what makes me mad. Tone's going to get real aggressive right here. While they're sitting at home, there's a guy outside on a set of knee boards trying to fix their
right.
bad decision.
So here's the real negative. The real negative is, okay, fine, Chris. We heard it. We agree. We should address the boogeyman. Who's bringing the money?
Right.
And then it's a whole nother set of questions.
Yep.
And so the question that I say is that's a very serious question, because finishers would say, look, I can't live with this. I'm buying it. Then there's an owner that says, I don't want to know steps going into my amphitheater. I'm buying it. And eventually there'll be enough developers, project managers, owners that say, I can't choose you versus Joel. Joe's not a finisher, but Joe has a low bid. Joe's going to do the work. I can't choose that. That's what specifiers are struck with.
Right.
So my reputation's at stake. So I'm going to protect myself from him. I'm going to keep him from making a mess out of something that should have been easy. Nonetheless, I need a wizard. I need to have a phone call, because let's face it, you buy a dishwasher, and I'm old enough to know that I don't like looking at the internet, running through thousands of words to find out that I should have turned it on in a sequence instead of just turning it on. I want to have a guy I can talk. So what happens when this happens? I don't want to read about batteries. Why did my battery die? Oh, I know what you did. That's the way the world is. I mean, we're all that way. I want shortcuts. I am lazy. I accept that, but I still need help. And so in a way, you are a helper. You are a helper. I'm helping you solve this problem. Right. So let me help you. I've been here.
Well,
I've
if
done
we're going
this
to give
a
our
half a
listeners
times.
any advice today on the situation we're in, there is hope, but you got to be able to be patient and weather the storm to get through it.
Well, it's called a learning curve.
Yeah, you got to get through the learning
By
curve.
the way, I don't know anybody that got up a pair of skates and just started.
No.
You need a little time.
And that's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
Is help.
The forums online, the Facebook pages. I mean, that's what the wizards are in our world, right? I mean, that's where you go.
They're the
to.
unknowns.
That's where
the
you're-
wizards are the unknowns.
They're mostly obnoxious people.
Yeah, they're the unknowns. It's like the old analogy. Remember the guy walks in and hits the side of the big motor with a hammer and he fixes it and he charges him $10,000 because he knew where to hit.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Right.
Everybody's looking at the wrong wizards.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking at all the the university people that are getting up doing presentations at all the little things, and they think they're the wizards. No, they just got
labs and papers.
lab and papers. They're not fixing anything. They're actually compounding the confusion.
Well, what's worse is they're deceiving about their expertise. If
100%.
if I wore an $800 suit, you would be taking away an intended appearance. I would be making an impression. I'd be selling you something that just ain't
Your
true.
success.
Well, I will compare some of those people to the prosperity gospel preachers that sell the healing water.
Same thing.
They're the same thing in my book.
They need to go away.
Well, Chris, you are definitely our Yoda.
Yeah, you're our
You
Yoda.
started the
Thanks.
podcast talking about Yoda
work
and
on the
Star
makeup.
Wars and whatnot, but you are definitely our Yoda. And
And to our listeners, right here's the guy responsible for the creation and the beginning of E5.
yes, sir. Water is the
Thank
why.
you for that, but I'm here to help.
That's all we're here to
That's
help.
all-
That's why we got into this together was to help.
Well, I'm sorry. Dopamine determines decisions, and I need my dopamine.
You need dopamine.
I just
Yes.
thank you. I need the dopamine.
Well, we thank you for being
We
here
appreciate
today.
you. Thank you for
Appreciate
being
you, sir.
here. And to all of our listeners, thank you for tuning in.
Absolutely.
And
Look
hey,
forward to
give us
listening.
some feedback. We want to know what you guys want to hear too, so we can track down the guest and get them in here. So,
Absolutely.
Joel, as awesome.
Yes. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.